Hey everybody, this is Jeff E. Reed down at Stone Puppy Records. I just got done releasing 2 songs on CD Baby. We use CD Baby as our publisher, and it usually takes about a week and a half or so before those songs will be coming out. So I know that there's going to be a Monday that's going to roll around and we're not going to have a song to release. So I thought I'd put together a video tonight to show you guys a little bit about how I get my guitar tones. Now I'm going to talk about my devices, and I'm going to try to show you guys a pretty in-depth video of how exactly I make that happen. And I want to show you that because, like I said before, I'll say it a million times, I am a recording artist who is on a budget. So I don't have a giant warehouse full of amplifiers, but I do want to have the ability to sift through a whole bunch of different guitar tones and find the one that I think is perfect for the song that I'm working on. And in today's music world, of course, if you're a guitar player, you already know this, they have devices that help you do that. All right, everybody. So I figured this would be the best way to show you guys exactly what I got going on over here, because this is going to give you a really good example of how I get my guitar tones. And so first of all, let's talk about the 2 devices that I'm using. What we're looking at here is the Vox Tone Lab. Now this works like you have a whole bunch of guitar cabinets, a bunch of different types of amps, and a bunch of effects pedals. That's how this thing works. And it sounds awesome. So let's get into it here. This is your the different types of pedals that you might be using. They got fuzz and fat overdrive and tube overdrive and a whole bunch of different things there. These are your modulation effects. These are your delays, and these are your reverbs. So basically, if you have this lit up, I have a, let's say I turn this flanger on, I have a flanger, and I have this is highlighted or lit up. Then these 3 knobs control that effect, what I have on. And so it basically, just by selecting this, now these 3 knobs control the delay. If I switch this, these 3 knobs control the reverb. This is your amps. These are a whole bunch of different types of amplifiers that you can choose. And of course, they're just models. And these are cabinets, speaker cabinets that you can choose. And of course, again, they're just modeling the speaker cabinets, but like I said, this thing sounds great. Now the rest of these knobs are just like the knobs on an amplifier. So you got your gain, your VR gain, your channel volume, your treble, middle, bass, and presence. I've never been able to not find the sound that I want. I've never had to settle like, well, that's as close as I can get it, I've never had to settle like that. This thing does the trick. So when I sit down, I usually start, like I say, at clean edge. I'll show you what that sounds like. This is a Fender Telecaster I'm playing it on with 2 P90 single coil pickups. To me, that sounds just like an amp. I mean, if I had a giant warehouse and all the money in the world, it would still be easier to do this, So over here, I have a Digiverb digital reverb that I bought a long time ago, and I hate it. I hate the sound of it. The thing is a piece of junk. Don't buy one of these. This is my V-Amp II. It's by Behringer, and just like my Vox Tone Lab, they don't make these anymore, but you can find them. They're on eBay and other places. They're out there. Direct recording is something that I've always done, because the first time I went into a real studio to record music, the Line 6 pod was brand new and everybody was using it. And the guy who owned the studio I went into, that's what he had. He had one of those sitting on his desk. And I felt like there was no reason for me to bring my amp to the studio, because I brought it the first couple of times. But we were finding the sounds that we needed. In fact, we were finding better sounds than our amps were making. I had a cheap amp, So when I finally got my studio together, that's what I was going to do. I was going to do Line 6 pod take care of all my guitar, you know, just run direct. And during that time, Behringer came out with the V-Amp II. I went down and bought one, and they were a lot cheaper than the Line 6 pod, so I just wanted to try one out. And I love it. And I don't even know how long ago that was. I mean, it was a long time ago. What I got going on, like I told you before, I got my Digiverb pedal over here, and I'm just using that for a signal splitter. And this is a left and right output of the Digiverb. And I split that. This black cable right here goes into my V-Amp II. The V-Amp II goes out of that red cable and goes to my Tascam interface. This green cable goes over to my Tone Lab, and then it goes out to my interface as well. But the way this thing works is you got all these presets. I like presets. A lot of times, if you look at the owner's manual, they will have presets of things that are real things. Like this voice sounds like a Mesa Boogie head with a 412 cabinet, you know. And so if you want to start there, that's a good place to start. These knobs around this edge here are all your volume, your master volume, bass, mid, treble, gain. Just like having an amplifier. Over here you get to choose your effects, the effects that you want to be using, the level of your effect, the level of your reverb. For an example tonight, I set this tone up beforehand, before I start shooting the video, because I didn't want to spend too much time. Anyway, so the V-Amp, I'll turn it on right now. So that sound right there, nice, big, thick, heavy distortion, sounds awesome. But watch what happens when I add this. All of a sudden you get all that distortion, all that wonderful distortion, but over here this super clean tone gives you all the distinction, and you can separate every note. You can hear every string. And what I do when I hit record is I have my V-Amp going into one channel and I have my Tone Lab going into the other channel. And then sometimes I pan them hard left and right, sometimes I pan them 60%, but I'm always panning them a little bit. And the two guitar tones will give you a stereo field that's much wider and much thicker and broader. But this is a prime example of something that I do on a regular basis. Now, in my opinion, when you take those two guitar channels and you pan them a little bit and give yourself that nice big stereo field, it actually makes your song immediately, it makes your song 10 times bigger. It just sounds bigger. It fills up the entire room. Even if you can't do what I'm doing here, you'll want to play every guitar part twice. So that you can do that. And if you can play them real close to each other with a slightly different tone and then pan them a little bit, it'll open up your song and it'll sound beautiful. And people will say, wow, you know, how do you get your guitar to sound like that? Well, it's two guitars. And then of course, you know, I solos and any type of thing that you might be adding. Yeah, let's play that without this clean on. Sounds pretty good still, but you add that clean in there. Now tonight I showed you guys taking a clean channel and a distorted channel and mixing them together to make one beautiful guitar tone. But there's all kinds of different combinations of tones that make other things sound great, you know. Now, I will say that sometimes it's just better to play the guitar twice. It's all those little teeny, you know, imperfections that make it sound big. And a lot of times you'll say, you know what, this is just not getting me where I want to be. Maybe I'll just play it again, you know. But even at that, then you can play it again, but use the same two guitar tones. So now you got 4 guitars going, and it just sounds gigantic. I just want to thank you guys for watching. You know, Keddy and I have been doing this for 3 or 4 months now, and we've been really having a good time. We're pretty much on fire. We haven't worked together really musically in it was probably a good 10 years or so. So we have a lot of built up poems and melodies, which is awesome, and it's exciting. And I just want to invite you guys again to check out the music. You got to check it out, man. It's so good. Anyway, so I just want to remind you to click that like button, subscribe, and ring that bell. And don't forget to leave a comment, because you leave a comment, you'll automatically be put in a drawing for some cool Unity Gain gear. And you'll want to do that because our gear is pretty awesome. And like we always say, don't forget to push record. Thank you.